things are just meant to be. But right here, right now, baby, I've never felt so free.
Welcome back, everybody. Can you believe we're back already? The World Series is over. Congratulations to our Texas Rangers. Our Texas Rangers? Hey, wait a second, Ryan. I thought we're all Yankee fans. No, we're Texas Rangers fans, and here's why. By the Texas Rangers winning the World Series, it will show Hal and Cashman a very important lesson. Ryan, what's that lesson? The lesson is this. Go out and buy really good players, and then we will win the World Series. Stop trying to get cute. Ooh, we'll have a stopgap at shortstop with Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Ooh, who wants a fancy outfielder? We'll go get Kevin Kiermaier. No. Players that are really, really good equals World Series. Players that are really cute and clever equals Brian Cashman going, I think we got a really good team, all right? You're not so tough, Morosi. Anyway, moving right along. First of all, before we go on, I am, of course, selling merch. It's coming very soon, eventually. It'll be on our website here. It's going to be on t-shirts and sweatshirts and hats. It's going to be a cartoon of me, and it's going to be all my catchphrases. So look for that. It's going to be me saying my catchphrase. You guys are probably all yelling it at your screen right now, but I'll say it right now. It's me looking at my fiance saying, have you considered they're about to shut off our electricity? So look for that. Oh, Felix just collapsed. So, let's continue, shall we? I've got 3,000 of them in my garage. I've sold one. So, yeah, if you guys could really pick it up, I want to get enough money so I can hitchhike to my big live event coming up this year at the stadium. So, of course, we got to get into the press conference. By the way, to go back to the merch, is there anything more ridiculous than when these Yankee YouTube guys have their own merch, just wearing it in their video? Like a hat and a shirt, and both of them just say their name on it. Oh, wow. They must be flying off the shelves. So, this press conference, of course, we got to get into it. And I, for one, I don't care for his foul language. I don't care. I mean, I promise this is not what caused me to make a podcast today. It's in the news, so you got to talk about it. I don't care. Go out and get me good players. I don't care if Brian Cashman set John Morosi on fire. If it means at the end of the day, he goes out and gets me some left-handed bats and a good starting pitcher. That's all I'm asking for. And it's very funny to me when these Yankee dorks. Michael Kay is certainly one of them, but there's a lot of them. It's just Michael Kay has his own radio show. When he said that he doesn't conduct himself in a proper New York Yankee way, the dignity and the prestige and the class of the New York Yankees. You guys know John Wetteland played for the Yankees, right? It's funny how we're selective with what fun Yankee background we carry with us. So yeah, if Cashman has a great offseason, I don't care. I don't care about his press conference. I'm not offended. I don't think he was talking to me, and if he was, I told him to get Brandon Nimmo, and he didn't. He gave all that money to Carlos Rodon. So if he's insulting me, I'd go, well, I didn't sign Carlos Rodon. Stop yelling at me. Moving right along. So let's get into this offseason. We're starting to see things shape up. We're starting to... Now, like everybody else, I want Juan Soto the most of anybody else. However, I don't know if Soto's leaving. all of a sudden the Padres are saying, Boris is coming out and saying he's part of their offseason plans. It sounds like people are losing hope. Now, here's the thing. It'd be unfortunate. I would love Juan Soto. Who wouldn't? He's great. But it seems like the rumor mill is starting to be that the Yankees also feel that the Padres are just not going to trade Juan Soto. So it seems like, and our buddy Kirshner, he nailed it. In his article he wrote right at the end of the season, his off-season predictions were Bellinger. I'd love him. I know a lot of people are skittish. I think the 2 bad years was more to do with injuries, and I think he went to whatever that dumb baseball factory is where they look at your swing and fix you. Yamamoto. My only complaint about Yamamoto is that I was afraid that picking him meant we wouldn't boost our offense enough. But Yamamoto, that's great, perfect. He's the best pitcher on the market. And trade for Donovan from the St. Louis Cardinals. Now, I would rather have Candelario, but here's the thing. If your options are Donovan or no one, well, then I want Donovan. Because he's controlled for many years, which, while, yes, it'll be nice that we have him for the next, I think, 5 years, more importantly, he's going to cost us nothing. And I think that's why, compared to Candelario, he'll cost, who knows? We really don't know because he's the one part of the second tier of free agents. But probably somewhere between $10 and $15 million. And that means that getting Donovan means that you can keep Glaber this year, which I want to do if those are the 3 pickups we have. I don't think you can make any excuse to deal Glaber if those are your 3 moves. And I think that's a good offseason if those are the 3 moves you make. Plus you got your guys coming back. Eventually you're going to have Dominguez coming back, who I think is going to be 1B to Aaron Judge. I think he's going to be the face of the New York Yankees. I think Spencer Jones is well on his way. I think he's going to be here. I think he could be here this year. It might be soon, too. Like, it might be July. It might be they're both ready around the same time, which would be great. Because as I said in my first video, I have no faith that Rizzo or Stanton is going to be any good this year. And there's one big free agent that there's rumors swirling around with the Yankees that I want to make very, very clear. I do not want Matt Chapman. I would literally rather us sign no one than sign Matt Chapman because he's going to cost a lot of money and he's just going to be right-handed Joey Gallo. I'm sorry. Maybe not that drastic. Like, I think Joey Gallo hit like 179 this year. He's not going to be that bad. But if you're going to spend money, if the best thing you can come up with this offseason is Matt Chapman, then hang on. Just wait until next year and go crazy next year. I think Bregman's a free agent. I know Juan Soto's a free agent. Hang tight. Don't just throw money away on Matt Chapman. Obviously, great defense. I didn't realize he's as fast as he is, by the way, because I wasn't watching Oakland A's games. And he doesn't steal any bases, but he's fast. He's really fast. He'd be one of our fastest players. So we get, if Bellinger, and then we put together a trade for Donovan. I heard the Shift today saying he would trade him straight up for Michael King. The only person I'm trading Michael King for is Juan Soto, and even then, I don't want to trade Michael King. To me, even if we get Yamamoto, I don't understand why we're intentionally sabotaging our own pitching rotation. I mean, let's just say everybody's healthy for the sake of argument. Your pitching rotation has Nestor Cortez as the number 5, who got Cy Young votes just last year. So your rotation would be Cole, Rodon, Yamamoto, Michael King, Nestor Cortez. Yeah, no, I'm good, thank you. So the last thing I want to cover, and this is what inspired the podcast, this absolutely absurd Twitter back and forth with, I'm going to pull it up on my phone. Felix, if you want to pull this tweet up and put it on the screen, for those of you who don't know, I record the video, I send it to Felix, and then he adds in videos. He's not sitting in a control booth in my kitchen. It was a back and forth between Keith McPherson, who I believe does overnights at the Fan, and Yankee great Cameron Maybin. Now, here's the thing about Cameron Maybin. Cameron Maybin, for some reason, has become a very important part of the Yankees' social media, whatever you want to call it. Cameron Maybin is a very important voice. For those of you who don't know, in 2019, Cameron Maybin was our 19th outfielder and hit kind of okay on a team that was playing with juice balls and had Carlos Beltran as an assistant who was also probably telling our hitters what pitches were coming. Okay, so Keith McPherson says Cole is not opting out. Let me cover this first. I've not formally said this since I've begun the show. If Garrett Cole opts out, that means he probably won the Cy Young again next year. The Yankees have a clause that says if he opts out, they can void the opt-out by adding one more year at the same AAV. Let me translate that for you. Cole's either going to be a Yankee for 9 years or 10 years. He will never see free agency. If you're stupid enough to put in the comments, "Hey Ryan, what if Cole becomes a free agent?" That will never happen, I promise you. Do not waste our time with such nonsense. It's similar to saying, "Hey, what if the Yankees decide they want to trade?" Sorry, folks, the video cut off. I'm sure Felix spliced this together. Anyway, the character I was doing. "Hey, I'm the big dumb Yankee fan. What if the Yankees decide to trade Aaron Judge? Hey, we should trade Giancarlo Stanton." They both have no trade clauses. It's not going to happen. Okay, so here's the back and forth. I'd like to cover it for you now. Anyway, Cole's never opting out. He's never going to not be a Yankee. Stop saying it. You're wasting everyone's time. Keith McPherson says Cole is not opting out. Judge is never requesting a trade. Stanton wants to finish his career here. Same with Rizzo and LeMahieu. These guys are in it to win it. The window will close in the next 3 to 5 years. Yankees should simply stack the deck and win the World Series next year. Cameron Maybin says, "You know I agree with everything you said except the big G part, and I'll leave it there." Now that's his passive-aggressive way of saying he's friends with Giancarlo Stanton, and Big G is saying he'd waive his no-trade clause. "I'm not putting words in his mouth, but not so sure he wants to finish his career in the pinstripes. I'm sure he'd like to finish somewhere that actual appreciates how he's handled every sec of being in New York City." Now, here's my question. Are you saying that, I'm going to follow you down this and say Giancarlo Stanton waives his no-trade clause. What good team wants Giancarlo Stanton after this year? We're going to start with where Giancarlo Stanton has averaged in his career. He averages 42 home runs a year. This year he had 24. He averages 109 RBIs a year. This year he had 60. He's a .259 career hitter. He hit 191. His on base is usually averages 349. It was 275. His slugging percentage is 529. This year was 420. That makes his OPS career 878. This year it was 695. His OPS plus is in his career 137. This year it was 87. So let's say Stanton is waiving his no-trade clause. Who wants him? A good team doesn't want him. A good team like the Braves uses their DH spot as a way of resting their good players. They don't just want an old man who's going to come in and be a below-average hitter and make $22 million a year. That's the other thing. Who would take on that money? No good team. The only possible reason you would think is a bad team would take him on for just sell tickets, but that's not even how baseball works now. When you're a bad team, you're not trying to get slightly less bad. Look at the Orioles. Look at the Astros 10 years ago. When you're bad, it behooves you to be really, really, really bad. then you can draft number ones and number ones and number ones and Jose Altuve and Carlos Correa and George Springer. And all of a sudden, now your team's real good. So, they don't want to pay $22 million to an old guy. So unless Giancarlo Stanton has a resurgence this year, no team would want him. Let alone him waiving his no-trade clause. If that's his way of leaking it to Cameron Maben, that he would waive his no-trade clause. Big G, I have news for you. No one wants you. We don't want you. And if you don't believe me, let's just pretend we somehow unload you. That's $22 million coming off the books and an open DH spot. Oh, Yankees are now in on Ohtani. Before, the argument was, well, we can't have him. We have Giancarlo Stanton occupying the DH spot. Well, he's a generational talent. He's one of the all-time great players in baseball. There's a chance that it would be worth it to just DFA Stanton because of all the money you'd make from Ohtani. But in this world, we're just giving him to somebody and they take on all of his money? We'd do that in a second, Giancarlo Stanton. So instead of this passive-aggressive, I feel like I'm not appreciated. Appreciated for what? You had an OPS of 87. You make $22 million a year from us. You make $10 million a year from the Marlins. You make $32 million a year. You're the third highest paid player on the team, behind Aaron Judge, who's the best hitter in baseball, and Garrett Cole, who's about to win a Cy Young. You are not a major leaguer right now. You hit 191. An OPS plus of 87. I don't feel appreciated. Oh, poor G. You don't feel appreciated. Who could appreciate you? You're only capable of playing offense because you move like a marionette with two broken legs? And you're a below-average hitter, and hitting is the only thing you're physically capable of even attempting at this point in your career. The argument that, by the way, a lot of people used to have with Giancarlo Stanton is he can play the outfield, which was true for a while. He wasn't bad. You could stick him in right, slide Judge to center, and then there were times where we had Anthony Rizzo and Luke Voit on the team. You're like, play Rizzo at first, DH Luke Voit. Our lineup just got better. But they didn't want to do that. Now there's no arguing. Giancarlo Stanton is incapable of being a member of the defense at this point. There's a time where, when he was healthy, Yankee fans were really excited about Giancarlo Stanton, even this past offseason. Like, he was thought of as one of the guys where you're like, oh, great, we got Stanton. Yeah, he's going to play well. We just got to keep him in the DH, keep him healthy. This year, even if you go on the crazy fantasy, they trade for Soto, they sign Bellinger, they get Candelario, they get Donovan. You're going through the lineup, you're going, oh my God, Candelario. But Soto, Judge, Bellinger, Austin Wells hit really good. Dominguez is going to come back. I think Volpe's going to be really good in his second year. Rizzo. LeMahieu. And the worst of all, Stanton. Ugh. Underappreciated. Well, then maybe you belong on a crappy team. You can go be Miguel Cabrera and get big, rousing round of applauses when you come onto the field for the last time. Oh, it's Miguel Cabrera. He's in his 7th consecutive year of not being very good. Oh, I remember 20 years ago when he was good. Hooray! Hooray, he's still alive! By the way, handling New York, what does that even mean? I'll tell you what it means. He has a good attitude about the fans being ticked off when he sucks. As opposed to what, by the way? And the pitch to Stanton, swung on and missed, chased a slider 8 feet in the left-handed batter's box. And what's this? Stanton is pulling out a firearm, and he's firing it at the crowd for booing him. Oh my goodness! This man can't handle New York City! What options does he have?
Oh, I went 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts, and that's on me. I gotta try harder tomorrow.
Oh, the bravery. Oh, we better appreciate this man while he's still here. Believe me, Giancarlo Stanton, if you're willing to waive your no-trade clause, if there's one team willing to take you, even if we ate 30% of the contract, that's generous, by the way. They'd be asking us to eat like 75% of it. If they just miraculously, let's just play in Giancarlo's fantasy world where it's still 2015. This is that ice cold Michelle, fight for that white gold. This is the year that Stanton's still good. And teams are willing to take on your $22 million a year. Yankee fans would be dancing in the street to get rid of you. So here's what you're going to do. Rather than take your little passive-aggressive shots at Yankee fans for having the audacity to boo. By the way, has that ever worked? When they go, oh, Yankee fans are real tough. Oh, okay, I'll let them know. Oh, they're being real nice now. They took a good hard look at themselves. No, it's Yankee Stadium. They're lunatics. It is what it is. And when Joe Girardi hits a triple to take the lead in the 96 World Series, the stadium is literally shaking. So there's the highs and the lows. If you want to just go someplace where everybody likes you all the time, you can go play for the Cardinals. Yay! They haven't won a World Series since Pujols left. Turns out good players matter, and not having a fun, good attitude. I think that wraps it up for this time. So, in conclusion, I wanted Juan Soto. I think the Yankees have realized they're not getting him at least this offseason. I'll tell you, one way we could for sure get him is if someone takes Giancarlo Stanton. Apparently, he's saying he'll waive his no-trade clause. I don't think anyone would want him. I think all the other teams in baseball also have extra innings. I think they also saw that he wasn't very good this year. I don't think that's a secret between you and me. We could easily afford him next year if we got out of Giancarlo, but I don't see it happening, I think either Giancarlo's going to figure it out and be good enough that he can keep playing for at least a couple more years, get to 500 in pinstripes, or he's just going to get DFA'd because he's awful. Sorry to be so grim, but sorry, just dealing in reality. Okay, that does it for today. We will see you next time. Hopefully the next time I see you, it's because we did something fun. Maybe we signed Bellinger. Maybe we signed Yamamoto. Maybe we made a trade for Donovan. Oh, yeah, obviously, Glaber for Verdugo is nonsense. That's idiocy. I wouldn't mind Verdugo, by the way. He can't be your exciting outfielder. Because Cashman said we needed 2 left-handed outfielders. He better be the boring one. He better be the Kiermaier in this deal. He better not be the Soto or Bellinger. All right, that does it. We'll see you next time. Let's go Yanks. Tell 'em, Grams.